Hello, good morning, good evening to everyone on this world. Well, today is a very, very different podcast. Usually, we have a once a month Worldscope Mundane Astrology. At this moment, because I'm in Taiwan, in Asia area, so I have a little bit time zone problem to deal with my usual crew. So, always once a year, I will invite my friend in Asia area to join me have Asia Spatial. Okay, today joining me is Brian Fung from Hong Kong, and our channel. People who familiar with our channel probably very familiar with Brian, and he run a few podcasts with me, and also my dear friend Celine from Taiwan. Celine is a very good interpreter and also astrologer. I think last time you joined us during this time, right? During
Right,
the similar time.
right.
So I say, well, why not
Yeah.
team up again and we talk about a few important issues around Asia at this moment. So today we will cover quite a lot area from China, Japan, Taiwan. I know Korea is also quite unstable, but I mean, we will talk about that when we have more information. But today we will cover a few interesting topics from the Deepseek, that AI company shaking the Silicon Valley. And then we will go to Brian is going to bring some interesting rumor in Japan that everyone talking about. To be honest, when I was a flew with Japan airline, their flight attendant told me that I was like, even you dare to say this, then I think that's a serious rumor. And then Celine will bring us focus to Taiwan, some interesting serious event and that related to the Taiwan's we can say the national chart. So let's begin. Well, I will start it. Usually I am not usually I will let our team start it, but today I will start to talking about the DeepSeek because I write a very short article about it. So I will start from this Deepseek. This is a AI company. It was founded in 2023, if I remember correctly, and then early this year, suddenly it released a version of the AI that everyone in Silicon Valley was so shocking. And to be honest, in the beginning, I was just like, wow, how many AI company we have? I just don't want to make a fuss. And even a lot of my friend who was working in the IT industry were talking about it. I was just like, come on, you. Then suddenly on 27, the news comes out, the only kind of they compare the result of this AI, how good it is, and what it can do, and the money they spend is just what one on maybe 90 of the open AI. So that caused a huge shaking in the Nasdaq and also the VDAX, this chip company making a lot of GPU, and their share price dropped sharply. So let's go to have a quick look about the this open AI. Not open AI. I will talk about open AI later too. Okay, let me share this. Here we are. Okay, I think it's this. Could you see my screen?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
Yes,
so it's
no
a full
problem.
screen, right? It's a
Yeah,
full screen.
full
yeah.
Yeah.
screen. Yes.
Okay. So let's go. So this is the news on around the 27 and 28. All the waste media, I will report about DeepSeek, Spark AI stock show off. And that is so funny because in the beginning, everyone said, "Well, it's just a Chinese AI company. How good that could be." And but some of my friends they taste, they say it is really powerful, and there are few things that they can do, but the Western AI company never did it in the Silicon Valley. Well, to be honest, so I will sum up the few things that is very interesting. I think the fight between the China and the United States are more and more intensified since Trump inaugurate. Um, Especially just before Trump inaugurated, there is the TikTok shutting down, and we all know that. And that was like that went viral on the TikTok. Of course, they all black out, and but the very next day they come back again. So, but during that time, there is also another Chinese social media company called Xiaohongshu, Red Note, was suddenly gained a lot of support and the people search in and even they tried to learn Chinese Mandarin. And that was really funny. But we know, to be honest, we know Trump, just before that, Trump would say, I want it back. So at this moment, they are back. But Trump say he wants the American company control the TikTok. So we don't know. Maybe it will happen again because I remember that was happened in the second wave of Mars Pluto opposition. So I was wondering with Mars Pluto opposition again, what will happen to the TikTok? Okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
the Nasdaq stock market. I have a sharp fall 3%, nearly 3% on 27th of January. And that was the time everyone said, oh my God, this company is a killer. Would that become a Silicon Valley killer? Or just just a something temporary. Let's see. Well, I went back to search all the information I have and read a lot of report from the AI industry. And I summed up a few things. These Deepseek, why they has concern by the uh, by the AI company in the Silicon Valley, include Meta, include Google, and of course OpenAI was the one has hit hardly. So the first things I have first things I have to say, a lot of us or a lot of people who don't really know AI or who doesn't really know so-called Chinese policy are always mocking about this DeepSeek are not able to answer what happened in Beijing in 1989. We know, of course, they are not allowed to answer, even for us. We don't know what happened. No, I'm joking. But there's a censorship in China. So bear in mind, every company controlled by Chinese government were not able to tell you what happened in 1989. That is a big taboo. Of course, there is also our taboo like a 3T. So Tiananmen, Taiwan, and Tibet.
Mm,
And now with
mm,
Xinjiang, the Uyghur.
mm,
There's a few taboo that they are not allowed to talk about. To be honest, I say judge this AI, judge the AI performance by are they allowed to answer this question or not? It's a little bit unfair. It's a little bit unfair, but it's not when they are not able to answer those questions. Doesn't mean this AI is crap. Okay, what I mean is performing from technical level. What they really cause panic in Silicon Valley is the first things I want to tell you. They are open source. So what does that mean? That means the code they probably upload on the internet. So anyone who want to use it or anyone who want to modify it, they can download it and modify it to what they want. How good that could be. For example, if I want to use AI for astrology, I can go to download this DeepSeek. If I'm very good in coding and AI, then I can write a few things and using my own database, I collect all the article I wrote or something. and I can modify it become a AI for astrology. Well, you will say, but it does exist. Yes, it does exist, but people pay a lot of money. In the beginning, the open AI was supposed to be open source. Open AI was supposed to be open source. But halfway through, they say, wow, we spent a lot of money. We need to get some money back. So they decide to stop this service. And then now this powerful AI, they say, as powerful as open AI was working on the open source. That means any company or any individual who needed to modify it, they can do it. This, of course, that will take a lot of business away from OpenAI, from Meta, from ChatGPT, and then or Google. One thing we have to know is that all these companies spend billions, trillions dollars training their AI mode. Now we're talking about this DeepSeek. They are focused on called the language model. That means an AI who chat to you, who talk to you. There's other things AI can do. For example, like everyone know the Photoshop. They have their own AI. They use AI to modify photo, to fine tune the photo for you. That is AI. Or very famous for photo editing called Topaz. They use the AI technique to, like, you have a photo with was very blurred, but you really like that photo. Topaz can use the technique. We use AI to fix those blur for you, so your photo will look very clear, very sharp. These are also belong to AI, but we are talking about the DeepSeek is a language module, so you can have a conversation with it. That's why people say what they can talking about. Okay, that's the first thing cause panic in the Silicon Valley. But the second thing is even worse. Well, when they release so-called DeepSeek R1, they are kind of spending maybe 5.58 million. That is 89 times cheaper than OpenAI, nearly 100 times, nearly 100 times cheaper than OpenAI's O1 mode. So, of course, if you are an investor, you are definitely going to worry because if I invest like Microsoft, they are a big shareholder of OpenAI. All the money, if they are much cheaper, they can just like maybe subscription $1 per month to their client, and all the client will rush into the DeepSeek. This is another thing that really cause Nasdaq fall. Okay, the third things is what I really concern. What I really concern. This is what I concern most. But it is unclear. The DeepSeek declared that they use around 2,000 low-end chips from NVIDIA. The most of Silicon Valley's company, for example, ChatGPT, they use nearly 10,000 high-end chips. Why they have to use low-end chips H800? That's because there is a chip ban from United States. They are not allowed to import those expensive high-end chip to China to prevent the China, taking over the advantage of the any kind of a technique area. But the DeepSeek declares they only use 2,000 low-end chips to build this AI as good as OpenAI, as good as Gemini, as good as any other that kind of a chatbot. So of course, those investors like, no way, we are doomed. We are doomed. But is that true? Is that true? That is the problem. Okay, that is the problem because I went back to check those report from the technique writer. They're talking about the one thing is the very important is that China is able to avoid this chip ban through the third country. For example, most likely Singapore. So now they are investigating about these. Are they really bypass by Singapore to get those high end? And second, if Deepseek are really training with the high end chip, because some investigators says no, this is not true. Deepseek exactly training their module with the high end chip rather than what they say 2000 low end chip. So they are not only they are lying, they are trying to cover that they obtained those high end chip and more than you can image. How could they get it? So they kind of bypass, and then the cost definitely much more expensive than what they say. Okay, so what we have to say, what we have to think is the concern. What we really have to concern about DeepSeek is the challenge of the China technology industry. They can really bypass. They can really bypass. So they can really, avoid this chip ban. That's one thing. And as I say, to be honest, the freedom of speech in China, you don't need to give a hope. They will continue like that until, end of the world, end of their world. So I really don't want to judge this company by are they able to answer those sensitive or prohibit question in China. It's unfair to their AI. We all know they were not able to answer it, so there's no point. But what my concern is, first, their technology is really good. Second, they open source. They open source. They're really going to take the client away from the Silicon Valley. But also, I think the privacy and the security are really concerned because their server is inside of China. And when you agree to use DeepSeek, you have to agree they can store all your information, all the questions you ask, all the information you give to their server in China. That is a real concern. I mean, most people, they don't really care, to be honest. They don't really care. Most people just like, whatever. I heard about people say, well, so does Apple, so does Google. They steal your personal information. I know. But call me old-fashioned and old school. I still have concern about what if, Chinese government hold my privacy and all the previous information I have. We don't know. But finally is the chip ban. Are they really effective? That is the things we should concern. Here we are. Here's the chart I found on the DeepSeek. So they are founding on the 2023, 17th of July in Hangzhou. Hangzhou is the new area really like a Silicon Valley because I think there is a big website called Alibaba was also based in Hangzhou. So that really, is quite an important area for them. So in this chart, we have what? We have Sun opposite Pluto. We have that Sun opposite Pluto. That is really interesting. It's like they are really controlled. I think people say they are controlled by Chinese government. To be honest, what company are not controlled by Chinese government in China? Nearly every company. So there's no point to talk about that. But need to worry about is another one is Saturn opposite Mars. Well, Saturn-Mars opposition is a really kind of prohibit. You are not allowed to do this. You are not allowed to do that. So there is the things about this company. There's a lot of limit. They've been limited. There's a lot of things. Maybe, for example, like a chip base, And then one thing I really feel interesting is the Jupiter and the Mercury kind of a partial square. That is my, I say, well, What does that mean? Mercury is about information. Mercury is about, the company's uh, trading. Square with Jupiter, that means, somehow it could be exaggerated. There is a little bit of sense of exaggerated this company, what they say. Well, you probably need to carefully and check what they say because that may not true. Finally, I think the Chiron square the sun. Well, I think Olis is kind of the weakness of this company, but also you have Pisces trying the sun and maybe trying the moon, we don't know. That is quite of interesting. You can build a beautiful future, or that people believe this company is quite will grow quite, you know, quite big. That is possible. Okay. And let me show you another chart. This is when Deepseek released their our module. That means that is a kind of a powerful a module that they can commercialize and also open sourced to test. Well, interestingly, I think that on that day, Mercury at 17 degree Capricorn, kind of opposite the moon and the sun. And the Mars, that retrograde Mars, was right on the sun. Exactly, exactly. And we know at this moment we have a Mars Neptune trine, Mars Neptune trine. So that, well, I think that give us the flavor about everyone talking about DeepSeek, especially in the IT domain. Everyone, I think, I heard one of my friends talk about this for 3 days. How powerful it is, how shocking they are, and if that's true, if really they only spend a little bit of money to create this module, that would really end the Silicon Valley. Well, eventually we know that not only they do use high-end chips, also the the data they trained, kind of kind of they take it. Let me say, I don't want to use the serious accusation. They took it from OpenAI. They call it distillery. Mars trine Neptune. They call it distillery. What does that mean? It means OpenAI train their module with mass data collect from you and I. Everything we leave our footprint, leave our internet, OpenAI collected and used to train their module. Once they train their module, they have data. Now, DeepSeek took those data after trained, they took it to train their module, save their own time. It's like I want to write the book. I took maybe say Sue Tompkins' book to summarize and then write my book. I call distillery. How powerful it is. Well, that is the things they found it, but and there are a few things I don't want to go to detail, but that was quite interesting. That remember that Jupiter square there, Mercury, they exaggerated how great we are. But it is very interesting because if they don't release this R1 in this way, people may not pay attention to this company. But now it's OI on it. Everyone focus on this company. Then you have Mars on the sun, and the people start. They say we're being attacked. Of course. Not only America want to attack it. Every country would like have a concern. Is that really good? We can use it. Is that true? And we have the Chiron square, the sun. Well, that was from the natal chart. It's the similar things. Now let's go to Nasdaq. Pretty interesting. How a Chinese company can cause a 3% fall in Nasdaq. Okay, interestingly, we have Sun conjunct Pluto when they release on the 20th of January. We have Sun conjunct Pluto. Now, I think that is also the day Trump's inauguration. On the Mercury, on Nasdaq's Mercury, the trading planet for trading is also Nasdaq second house ruler and the third house ruler. I think we also have the Mars is kind of opposite it. Mars is kind of opposite, and Jupiter opposite Mars, right opposite Mars. And the Moon is on the Uranus. And we know, I think during that time, Uranus was stationary, right? Was the end of a beginning of the Uranus stationary, end of a January. So Uranus was stationary, and then we have that, Moon conjunct the Nasdaq's Uranus, and the South Node is conjunct Nasdaq's Pluto. So it's quite interesting to see that free fall in the Nasdaq. Well, I think it is the final chart I want to share with you. Is ChatGPT between ChatGPT and DeepSeek. Okay, so ChatGPT was released on the 30th November 2022 from San Francisco, and this is the DeepSeek R1. When they release their Pluto, the Mars is opposite ChatGPT's Pluto. Jupiter is kind of a square ChatGPT's moon, and the Saturn is, I think, was over the orb. So I should not take it seriously. But we have also Mercury is right on ChatGPT's ascendant. I can confirm ChatGPT's chart. I have the exact time. So this time was correct. So that was kind of a pretty interesting moment for the ChatGPT. And then, well, in the beginning, I think they say they want to do the investigation, but ChatGPT eventually they drop the investigation. They say, let's just focus on build better AI. So was kind of an interesting news. To be honest, um, what we should concern is like they are open source now, so a lot of people will use it. But it's also quite interesting. I heard about a lot of country start to ban it. Not only in the United States, as a government body should not use it. I think in South Korea, Italy, Taiwan also has concern about using the DeepSeek. So I can't remember. I think it was in the United States, they want to pass a law to make it illegal and criminal for using the DeepSeek. So, but everyone said it's part of a trade war between Trump and, Xi. I don't know. What do you think?
You just showed the chart, the
Yes.
bi-wheel chart between DeepSeek and Nasdaq, right?
Yeah.
The funny thing is that not only the nodes are conjunct Nasdaq's Pluto, but also DeepSeek's Neptune is also opposite to
Oh, yeah.
Nasdaq's Pluto. And we have been mentioning about the importance of this Pluto, about how how a perfect vision is projected through this Neptune. And I wonder if this vision of Neptune trigger the fear or the
Oh,
response,
yes.
the plutonic response of Nasdaq. And then there will be some, also plutonic reaction towards
I
this AI
agree.
thing. Of course, I'm not saying that
Mm.
uh DeepSeek is innocent, but anyway, I think I think it will trigger the Pluto of Nasdaq.
Yeah,
Not to mention the Mars being conjunct with its own sun. Uh to me it is of course it is like the DeepSeek is showing the world how competitive it is on one
I
hand,
agree.
but on the other hand, funny that it is also like how it shows the company is making itself the arch enemy to the whole world.
I just don't understand, I just don't understand. They are very confident about themselves, isn't it?
Yeah, and if we I now I'm really curious about the future of this Deepseek
Yes.
thing
Yeah.
because if we use some simple secondary progression,
Yes.
the progressed sun will opposite its Neptune in 5 years. So I'm really curious
Ouch.
about its very near future.
Okay. Well, maybe as a Neptunian, either go bubble or bubble
Oh,
bust.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Celine, is there anything you want to share?
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with today's topic.
All right then. Well, I think we can cut this short. And Brian, what are you going to share with us? Just a moment. I just realized I haven't set you as a co-host, so you can share. So let me set you and the setting
Yeah.
co-host.
I have I have something to share. Um, Hang on. If I suddenly keep coughing, don't worry that I'll die in front of you guys, okay? Okay, I'll share about my quest today is to testify if I'm a doomsayer. I'm going to talk about Nankai megathrust earthquakes. Okay.
Could you tell us a little
Um,
bit? Could you tell us a little bit of the background of this mega earthquake?
well, to make it short, there is a really long fault line along the southern coast of Japan. And here in this table, it listed the major earthquakes along this fault line. And the magnitude are, are all among 8.4, 8.6, 8.4,
Wow.
well, which are all really devastating. And rumors are that Japan will undergo another one. Uh,
What?
you know, the rumor actually started last year in 2024, and then
Yeah.
it keeps going this year. Because it didn't happen, it didn't happen in 2024. So people say that, oh, okay, 2025. So my quest today is to see if there is any hint in astrology to tell us whether this will happen again. But I would like to um do some Gemini thing in this table first. So the
Oh,
very first or the recorded earthquake of this Nankai megathrust dated back to AD 684.
okay.
And you can see it actually happened every 100 year or 200 year.
Okay.
And then okay, this one 300, and then 100, two 100, 100, 100 and a half, and then suddenly less than 100. So
Wow.
the first rumor is that, okay, so the next one will also be less than 100 years. Of course, I don't know if it is true or not. So um I have actually looked at the charts of each of these
Yes.
earthquakes, and there are some common things among these charts. There are aspects between Saturn and Uranus and
Okay.
Neptune.
Okay.
Okay, but the funny thing is that they are not hard aspects. Quite a
Okay.
lot of them are actually set styles
Oh,
or
interesting.
trines.
That is really
Yeah.
interesting.
So this one is the excuse me. This one is the Aries Ingress chart in 1944 of Tokyo, the capital of Japan. So we see that there is a grand trine in
Yes.
this chart with Neptune and Uranus. Saturn is not participating in here, but
Okay.
this Uranus Neptune trine actually reacts with moon, and moon is the symbol of our what should we say, average people or citizen or our everyday life, right?
Yeah.
Of course, we can't say that when we see Neptune and Uranus, oh, earthquake, 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 because earthquakes actually is really common in Japan, right?
Yes.
And there is a research that is quite interesting. The research suggests that when the outer planets are within an 120-degree arc, the possibility of a huge earthquake will be much greater. And
I think
we
we
see
have it,
that,
right?
yeah, here. So
Yes.
we might say that this somehow fulfills the first criteria. And then in this chart, the other thing that if I if I if I would say the sensitive degree of this ingress chart, I would say 0 degree to 10 degree, because we see that most planets actually fall in the very first degree of each of their
Yes.
signs.
They are,
So they
yes.
are quite easily triggered.
Yeah.
And the third thing is that we see that this Uranus and Neptune is in the the first 5 degrees of their own sign. So Neptune is in 2 degree Libra. So when in the Libra ingress chart, its sun will inevitably trigger this Neptune. So I might, of course, I know the answer, but if I do not know the answer, okay, imagine that we do not know the answer. We may guess that the autumn in the Libra ingress might be the one that we can pay attention to.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
another thing is that if we use profession, we
Yes.
may take each sign as 1 month, right?
Okay.
March, April, May, June,
Mhm.
July, August, September, October, November, and December. I'm not
Uh-huh.
sure, but I will say that I will pay special attention to this Uranus and Neptune. So I may guess summer or autumn. Guess.
Okay.
Okay. So let's take a look at the Libra ingress chart of that year.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Neptune moves really slowly.
Mm-hmm.
So the sun of this chart actually conjunct this Neptune, which is not surprising. But this Sun Neptune conjunction formed a sextile to the moon. Well, sextile, honestly, if you ask me, I won't say sextile is a really stimulating or a really sensitive aspect, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But sextile is here. And another thing is that Jupiter formed a really, really, really close square to Uranus. Um, excuse me. So, for this season, we may actually pay attention to two things. One is this sextile, and another thing could be this
Wow.
square, right?
Is a Mars conjunct Uranus? Near the
Yes.
Uranus.
No, no, no,
No, no, no.
Well, trine,
no.
Oh, try.
trine.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So, I think we may pay attention to see if any, because in this Libra ingress chart, the sun actually only moves between Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I may guess that I may pay special attention when the sun trigger this Mars or
Mm-hmm.
this Neptune, or this moon, or when it is opposite this Uranus.
Mm-hmm.
So, A,
The same chart.
yes, I have put a wrong chart here.
Okay.
Anyway,
Wow.
the um the the actual earthquake that happened that year, the sun actually is at 14 degrees Sagittarius.
Uh-huh.
And give me a second. I have the chart in my astro.com.
Okay.
In early this year, I went to an event that is many customer. I went for a business gathering, and one of the vendor we cooperated before. The first sentence she asked me was, "Celine, have you heard about the huge earthquake that will happen in this coming July?"
Yeah.
I didn't heard about it. So she said there is a Japanese comic who drew the
Uh-huh.
comic, and she
Yeah.
predict they will have a huge mega earthquake that will reshape the Japan. And she told me Japan will totally disappear after that earthquake. So I was thinking to ask Rod, have you heard about that rumor? So I'm
Yeah.
very happy
That
that Ryan is talking
yeah.
about this topic today.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, that's why. That's why because that's why I heard about it last year because I travel to Japan maybe twice a year. And then I think
yeah,
last year it started to draw my attention.
yeah.
But I just like well, it's just like a rumor, so I wasn't really paying attention. But even
Mm,
this
Um,
year, I read from some website, and that's why I say when I was
yeah.
on my way to Japan, and the flight attendant say, "Oh, you like it? You like visit Japan? Be very careful." They say this year we will have a big earthquake over there. Okay.
Wow.
So Brian, are you ready?
yeah, here, the sun on that day, that is the 7th of December, the sun is at 14 degree Sagittarius, which is opposite to the Uranus. That's the first thing.
Wow.
And the second thing is that this ascendant, um, it is at uh 13 degree Scorpio, which
Mm,
formed a exact quincunx to this Uranus.
wow.
And of course, if we only see the event chart, okay, if we see the event chart, we'll see something quite worth noticing.
Yes.
We see that the Uranus and Neptune formed, actually they only formed a trine with Saturn and Uranus forming a square, with Neptune being the apex of this T square. What I would like to mention is that the role of Saturn and Neptune and Uranus are really uh, prominent when it comes to these uh, Nankai megathrust earthquakes charts.
Oh.
And if we check the local space of this Libra ingress, we
This
see
still the
that,
so excuse me, Brian. This is still
hmm,
the Libra increase for 1944, right?
Four.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. We see the line crossing, the Nankai fault actually is somewhere around here.
Yeah, yes.
So we see the line passing not really over the fault line, but it is really near. And the the what's that called? The focal point of that earthquake is in a place called Shima,
Mm-hmm.
which is here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry for my using wrong charts. Okay, so now here we are in 2025.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
This
2025,
is
yeah.
the um Aries ingress chart of 2025, and where it's Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Uh, Neptune actually is angular in this chart. It is at 24-degree Pisces, and the descendant is at 2-degree Aries. Um, there is a really close sextile between Saturn and Uranus. So, I might first suggest that there could be a rather strong earthquake, not necessarily Nankai megathrust, but I would say that there could be a rather big earthquake this year.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if I am not responsible and make a really wild guess, and
Yeah.
I bet that you know, I might say pay attention pay attention to summer, because
Mm-hmm.
if we use the monthly profession, March, April, May, June, or July, August, somewhere near September.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure, but I might pay attention to both Cancer ingress chart and
Mm-hmm.
Libra ingress chart. And another thing is that because we all know that both Saturn and Neptune are moving into Aries this year.
Yes.
So it will actually trigger this sun, or especially this they will form a conjunction, not really exact, but they are still a conjunction around this sun. And the Saturn Aries period is actually June, July, and August this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I might pay more attention to these 3 months if I'm trying to guess. So this is the Cancer ingress chart this year, and we see that
Oh, wow.
the, the Saturn Neptune conjunction actually is angular, and it
Yeah.
formed a yacht with Pluto and Mars.
Mm.
So I
Mm.
might, and of course, this thing also we are interact with Uranus.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
There's a
yes.
second
Oh,
yacht. There's a second yacht with the Sun, Jupiter,
Oh,
and
yes.
yeah,
the
Sun, Mars, Pluto, right?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah,
And
yeah. The
if I am using the same technique, I may pay special attention when Sun moves into Virgo.
Uh-huh.
mm.
And yeah, let's see I'm a doomsayer or not, but this is all just wild guess.
Oh, thank you, Brian. This is
I do not
fascinating.
know how to conclude.
Well, anyway, I mean, there is a rumors there, and our tool is astrology. Our tool is astrology, and I think you use a very, I mean, step by step and a very, to be honest, very reliable technique from the astrology,
Let
especially
me
with
add
English chart. with English
Let me
chart, to be honest.
Yeah.
add one more.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, let me add
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
more thing.
Yeah.
Again, the
Yeah.
line over the fault this
Oh,
year.
yeah. Oh, wow. Well, so everyone, well, have you ever heard about this so-called Nankai mega earthquake? That is the a lot of people say it's going to happen. It's going to happen soon. And then let's keep an eye on it. That's what they are talking about it in Japan. Quite a lot of people talking about, to be honest, if you ever heard about that. Well, pay attention. And if you ever planning to go to visit in Japan, first, keep flexible. Second, learn the technique how to handle the earthquake. Especially if you are from the region that never has an earthquake happen, then, well, pay a little bit attention. Now, Celine, what you bring to us today?
Yes. Well, since you're talking about Asia and Asia Monday astrology, so I was thinking because I have a conversation with my friend in the end of the last year, and
Mhm.
she told me she noticed a news regarding the uh labor. No, sorry, there's a organization called Workforce Development Agency in Taiwan.
Mhm.
So she told me about an incident that happened in this organization. This workforce development agency supposedly should support every labor in Taiwan.
Mhm.
So they are kind of uh, they their job to protect laborers, for every working people.
Mhm.
But something bad happened in that agency. But now I would like to show the chart first, okay?
Yes, please.
So probably will be easy to say that. Okay. Can you see the chart
Yes, we can
that I
see.
am sharing?
Yeah.
The PDF, right?
Yes, was in PDF form. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So actually, Let's go by what I'm going to say. The first thing was actually focus on the Mars Pluto opposition for the first time and the second time, and then what happened in Taiwan. So what I was saying in last year, in the early November, it has two incidents that there's a two young life, not that really young. One is in teenager, one is kind of in the middle age. There was
Mhm.
two people trying to protest by their own life. They commit
Mhm.
suicide in the early November. So, but the news came out. The first one is what I was just saying in that workforce development
Mhm.
agency. The second news came out two months later. Is on the second Mars Pluto opposition.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So let's have a look. The first Mars opposition in the November 3rd. Okay. So we can see that in Taipei, Taiwan. So it's in the second and eighth house issue. But at the same time, there is Venus opposition Jupiter that is in the sixth and the 12th house. So, um, so the first one is that so difficult. So, what I want to say is, so we know that Mars is kind of you use suicide to protect. It's a Mars things,
Oh,
right?
yes.
And the Pluto also is kind of life, death, and
Yeah.
protect, something like that. And it's
Yeah.
in the last degree of this sign.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's the Venus and the Jupiter. So when I say about the working force development agency, it actually is a government,
Body.
government, huh?
Government
Huh?
body. It's kind of part
Sorry,
of a
and
government. It's government body.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 right. So the person who committed suicide, he is a civil servant, right?
Yes.
So it's in the sixth house. That's what
Yes.
is happening there. Okay.
Yes.
And then the second things was the second thing was happened in the fast food industry. That is
Oh.
Madonna.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
wow.
And yeah, that is a part-time job. The girl, she's very young. She's only
Mm-hmm.
17 years old, but
Mm-hmm.
he was under the sexual harassment by the supervisor
Oh my God.
for
Okay.
a year. Yeah. So it actually happened around early November. So,
Okay.
oh, okay. So it just made me feel that this life and death things and who can
Yeah.
protect their own right because they can only rely on their supervisor or their director
Yes.
to take care of them, but actually they are the one who bully them or harass
Yeah.
or yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's in the 6,000, the 12th house. Anyway, so um yeah, which chart we should look at in
Um,
Taiwan? Which one you
yeah.
will look? You will look at the provisional chart or the nationalist chart.
I use
Right?
both. Usually, I prefer, to be honest, I like the nationalism chart, the first January 1912. I prefer that chart usually, but I mean
Which one?
honestly, the 1912. Yeah,
Yeah, this
1912.
one.
Which one you
yeah,
prefer first?
This
This
one.
one?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, I prepare for both.
Okay,
Oh, sorry. Anyway, this is for the provisional one. That would
okay.
be 1912, January 1st,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Things no matter this chart or the second that we become the nationalist chart, that will be
yeah,
in
yeah,
1947, December 25.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
both of them, their ascendant are Libra, right?
Yes.
Both of
Okay.
them are the ascendant are Libra. So this Pluto Mars opposition, it all happened in the fourth and the 10th house,
Okay.
right? Looking that.
Yes.
But
Yes.
if that in the professional chart, it will affect on the Neptune in 10th house
Okay.
and also with the Uranus. So
All
it
right.
right, it's amplified with the leadership. Who
Mm-hmm.
are you really doing a good job to take
Mm-hmm.
care of the one that belong your under your supervision,
Mm-hmm.
right? But at the same time, we have the Saturn and the Uranus in the sixth house.
Yes.
So we all know in 2024, we have the semi-square between
Yes.
the Saturn and the Pluto. So
Mm-hmm.
these two news that happen, even though it's in the earliest November, but both reported two steps under this kind of stress for years
Mm-hmm.
or over an year. So it's from the 2024. It actually, for the Madonna case, the little girl, the teenager, she actually filed complaint to the company in last March, but the company do nothing.
Oh, okay.
And then they only filed the supervisor of hers.
Oh,
And then even though these two news happened at the same time, but the McDonald case came out at the second Mars Pluto
oh,
opposition.
okay. So
That's when Mercury come to what it happened in the
wow,
Venus in
wow.
November. So the mother posted the news on Trade, so it went public. Otherwise, nobody know what happened before. But it's just very interesting that in this case, in this chart, we can see it affect on fourth and the 10th house, but
Mm-hmm.
also in the nationalist chart, it
Mm-hmm.
also affect on fourth and the 10th chart. But on this chart, it exact the Pluto exact on the Venus here
Wow,
in the fourth house.
wow.
So um, the girl, she was
Yes.
the female, but
Mm-hmm.
also the one who bullied the civil servant for the first case, she
Yeah.
also is the female director.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what's going on with us, all this news? Mm. But at the same time, since there's a Venus also opposition to the Jupiter, it kind of connect with the Uranus in ninth
Yes.
house. So
Yes.
it's kind of the policy. Are they really protecting the people or protecting the people who work there,
Mm-hmm.
who can protect their right?
Mm.
That's why I'm wondering about it. And at this time, the Uranus is conjunct with Moon.
Yeah.
The Moon supposedly represent for the people.
Yes.
And then now it's
It is very interesting because
yeah.
if
So
all these events are connected with Mars Pluto opposition, then like
right.
we say, there's a third one coming. There's a third one coming up in
Yes.
April.
But
Yeah.
yes, it's in the April, and that is the chart for the final one. So you can
Yeah.
see all the planets is here, and then when we come back to see in this chart for the nationalist chart.
Yeah.
So if we say it affect with the Venus 29
Yeah.
in fourth house, so
Yes.
at the final one that will have square
Oh, yes.
And
a square. No, T square for the
Mm-hmm.
for the third, the final one with the sun. The
Yes.
sun will be trigger for all this happen to know the result. Yeah,
Mm. Yeah. Well, thank you,
yeah,
Celine. I think you can kind of weave things together, and with the two
yeah,
in I wouldn't say independent instant or independent news, but they all
yeah,
related to sexual harassment or bully, and the
yeah,
things that happen in the with the authority figure, like you say,
right.
authority figure, how they how they behave, how they behave, especially. But one thing, I mean, I don't think it's totally 100% off topic, but
Yeah, okay. I
but
know what
yeah.
sorry for my bad presentation today, but
No, no,
what
no,
I want to
no.
say, what I want to say first is about the Mars Pluto
Yes,
obsession. What's because it's in Taiwan's chart is effect on the fourth and the 10th
yes,
houses, right? And then
yes.
for me, what I want to share is right now in Taiwan from last year to now, we have kind of a situation it's about the leadership or
Mm-hmm.
your leadership or who is your boss. Are they really play a good role? So
Mm-hmm.
probably people know we uh, have a great recall movement right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are so people are kind of protest. They don't want the they vote for people
Mm-hmm.
who for civil servant, but they are fail for their job. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why they create this movement because the budget they have a great cut for that is also no matter in this chart or in the nationalist chart effect on the Venus is all
Mm-hmm.
about the money budget. So also the moon is in the second in eighth house is still
Mm-hmm.
also related with the money, with the budget. Also the two suicides issue, they also eighth house things.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a people trying to gain their strengths by protecting themselves. They need to
Yeah.
do some strong things by Mars. So because we all know Mars kind of in retrograde is all lingering from 10th house in the Cancer, Leo and the Cancer. So, so that's what I want to say about are they the leadership or all the leaders or the one who in charge? Are they really play a good role for that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when I talk about the Venus and the Jupiter opposition, so it's also in third house in and ninth house. Are they really apply a good policy by looking care of people in Taiwan
Mm-hmm.
or their yeah staffs, something like that? Yeah.
Thank you, Celine. Because when you mentioned about McDonald, and then they just
Yeah.
call my memory because I was remember similar time. There's a lot going on McDonald.
McDonald. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I went back to search a few things. Was a similar time. To be honest with you, Celine, similar time when the young girls in Taiwan was kind of the news of her news comes out. In
Right.
UK, there is a similar sexual harassment by supervisor in McDonald, and they caused like a
Right.
protest in McDonald in UK. But
Yeah.
meanwhile, it was I think people was kind of fed up with McDonald first. Um, in US with the two things. One is the about the worker in McDonald reported Luis Mangione, the one
Yeah.
who assassinated the CEO, and the people was pissed off with that. And then another news was they very quickly, right after Trump's inauguration, they ditched the DEI policy, diversity, equality, and inclusion policy. They were the first company announced that we are no longer doing this. So I remember both me and Brian was a wrote something for around the early this year about McDonald. Brian, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like the worldwide McDonald had something happen to them,
I
right?
think so. I think so.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think you make a point in Taiwan. This kind of leadership
Yeah.
things and also are really related to this Mars Pluto thing,
Yeah.
and that was a
Right.
pretty severe. Thank you, Celine.
Yeah.
So Brian, do you want to talk about just give us a little bit of your
McDonald.
opinion about McDonald's? And Celine, could you just
Um,
stop sharing?
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, let me have a very quick look at the uh chart of McDonald. I do not have the exact time, but according to what
All
I
right.
found, it
Yeah, that
should
is the
be
time. It's exactly when the girls' news came out, January 2nd, that when Brian posted this news.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
yeah, and the date for this chart is 23rd of April 1940. And when the news that Celine just mentioned, Mars actually was passing through Cancer, so it somehow triggered this Chiron, and then it's Pluto. And we all know Pluto is about taboo or
Yes.
scandals or death or brutal force. And Chiron, of course, it is about minorities, the marginalized, or about
Yes.
hurting and being hurt. So it was the time when Mars is when Mars was triggering these two planets, and of course we all know that Mars now is being retrograde, and it is right now somewhere in Cancer, and it will station at 17-degree Cancer
Yes.
by the end of this month, which is again very near to this Chiron, and then it will trigger this Pluto again somewhere around 17th of April, if I'm correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah, in 27th of April,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
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 sorry for being sorry for coughing all along the way when I speak.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if that is the final Mars Pluto conjunction opposition, the Pluto will opposite to that Pluto. Yeah, that's what how
Yeah.
you
Yes.
show it here. Yeah, and
Yes,
the
around
Mars
there.
is
Yes.
come.
Yeah, should be around
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Because
Yeah.
Pluto is right
yeah.
here.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Yeah, Mars Pluto opposition will be right there.
Yeah.
Well, if I ever someone who invests in McDonald's, I would say be very, very careful because another big news is
Pay
coming
attention.
up.
Right.
Yeah, wow.
And
Thank you.
yeah,
Yep, Sally. Anything you want to mention?
no, since we talk about the final, can Brian show the chart again, please? Since
Yeah,
we
sure.
were talking about the final Mars Pluto
Yes.
opposition, it will have the T square. So T square, the sun will be in McDonald's second house, I think. In
Yes.
the yeah, right? It
I
will be
think it should be
second 10.
not far from the Saturn and the Sun conjunction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It will be 7 degree of the uh, Taurus.
Yeah.
So yeah, not far from that.
No, not far at
So
all.
that's
No.
what yeah, like what Rod just predict about probably they were losing the money or something.
Well, I don't know. I would just like that is a
Yeah,
big things. That is big things. Yes. Well,
Yeah,
yes,
and we
thank
can we
yes.
can
you.
speculate. Yeah.
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 Okay. Thank you, Celine. Thank you, Brian. It is
Thank you.
so interesting. It's so interesting. To be honest, I want to when you watch this video would be around the Friday, Valentine's Day. Well, we can say happy Valentine's Day to everyone. But I have to let you know we record this on a Monday night in Taiwan, and now it's a Tuesday morning, 0 o'clock. So I mean, I have to say thank you, Celine and Brian. I know you both had a
Thank you
long
for both
day.
of you.
Celine was traveling from South Taiwan back to North Taipei, and then Brian has a long working day and still join me with this amazing presentation. Thank you, both of you. And well, I'm really looking forward to working with both of you. When you have time, join me on YouTube or join me on Instagram and bring some news from East Asia. Okay? Thank you so
Okay.
much. Thank you, Brian.
Thank
Thank you,
you. Bye
Celine. And
bye.
thanks, everyone. See you
Thank
next
you.
time. Bye bye.